If you want to know if you're drafting at 5, 6, or 7, who the best team is that you can draft, watch this video. So obviously we don't live in a perfect world, but if we did, if I knew that my draft was going to go pretty close to chalk, like most of our redrafts are going to go, maybe there's 10 to 15% variancy, who would I draft? So for this draft, I'm going to be using this whole setup here as my team. I'm going to try and give a little bit of variance in my picks, because if I'm picking at 5, 6, or 7, I'm going to allow for that little bit of variancy, maybe 1 or 2 picks up, 1 or 2 picks down within that range of 5, 6, or 7. The other thing too, this ADP is based off of consensus ADP for redraft leagues, so it's not going to look exactly like your platform, but it should be relatively close. So starting off, we're picking at 5, 6, or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our more than realistic pick is going to start with Jahmyr Gibbs, best case scenario, and then it is going to work all the way obviously down because, well, we could pick anybody else in the entire draft. So somebody who I'm picking all the time, whether I'm picking earlier, if he falls later, that's awesome. It is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. So from Jahmyr Gibbs, my next best pick that I'd be taking with a lot of confidence would be CeeDee Lamb. If you're wanting to really stretch, you can go Christian McCaffrey. I know in a lot of people's drafts, he is going earlier in the second round. I'm not willing to take him if he is in the first round. If he's the beginning of the second on the turn and I can get him on the way back, totally will smash. I have no interest in Ashton Genty, and Amon-Ra St. Brown would be a good runner-up. But these would be my two guys I'm pretty comfortable taking as an anchor wide receiver or the hero RB. And just because I have a hero RB doesn't mean I'm not going to draft RB again. Because we picked 5th, 6th, or 7th, it is going to go back around. It is going to do the reversal, and we're going to go the exact same way. Best case scenario is somebody doesn't love A.J. Brown, and it's going to go 7, 6, 5. So again, A.J. Brown is probably best case scenario, and then again, we have the whole litany of people after that. If A.J. Brown is there, I'm going to smash A.J. Brown. I'm going to smash Drake London. I'm going to take a wide receiver right here between one of these two guys. A.J. Brown last season, had he been able to play 17 games, which is, a hard stretch for a lot of players to finish the entire season, but had he finished the entire season with the PPR points he was scoring per game, he would have finished as a top, I think it was 7 or 8 wide receiver. Then obviously for me, Drake London is also a smash. I think you're going to see Michael Penix perform a lot higher than what we got out of Kirk Cousins last year for the entire season. So I'm really comfortable with either one of these guys. It is, kind of fun. If you did take CeeDee Lamb, you now have 2 wide receivers. If you took Jahmyr Gibbs, then obviously you're sitting in a position where now you have a great running back and then a great wide receiver on your team. For me also, I'm not really interested personally in taking one of these high-ranking QBs this year. I think there's a lot of value later in your drafts. If I did take a receiver already and I needed to take a running back for the way I'm drafting, so if I needed to take somebody, for me personally, I am going to take Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is on the Packers. He's going to be in a top 10 scoring offense in the NFL. When it comes to running the football and red zone work, Josh Jacobs is a monster. He's still going to be the guy next season. He really didn't take off until midway point through last year. So Josh Jacobs is a pretty easy smash pick for me if I want a running back and I don't want to take one of these wide receivers. Okay, so full transparency, I forgot to do the third round because apparently I was just zooming through this because I was having too much fun. So in the third round, best case scenario, I guess technically, is Tyreek Hill, and then I have the picks of the rest of the round. The biggest thing for me in this round, again, I do love Jaden Daniels. I just cannot pick, again, a QB this early. I just need to get some more depth on my team. I think depth is key to me winning in fantasy football. I just feel like Kyren Williams had too much of a workload. Tyreek Hill, I just don't know what I'm going to get out of him. Don't love Brees. Absolutely do not want to draft JSN. Catch me later in the rounds with Kenneth Walker. So it puts me in a spot where I'm probably going wide receiver again. So for me, the best values in the third round are either going to be Garrett Wilson or Devontae Adams. It really comes down to what I need on my football team at that point in time. Either one of these guys, I think, are going to be smash picks. You're going to have Justin Fields, who, if you want to draft a QB really late, you can get Justin Fields later. You can pair him with Garrett Wilson. I think Devontae Adams realistically is right there with T. Higgins as the best wide receiver 2 in fantasy football and the real NFL. For me personally, in my drafts, I want to, in the first 4 rounds-ish, have 2 really good wide receivers. I want to lock down those positions because I want to make sure that I'm not getting farther into the draft where it starts to get a little bit more dicey. It's a little more of a dart throw. So for me, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams are both guys who are going to be either one, the only target earner on their team, or number two, a guy who's going to be in a top 5, top 10 worst case scenario scoring offense. So from there, obviously, it's going to go through the first, handful of picks because it's going to reverse again. So you're going to be looking at the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So best case scenario, even though it doesn't follow our strategy, is Jalen Hurts. And then it goes all the way throughout the rest of the round more than likely. For me personally, like I said, I'm not taking QBs. I don't love Amarian Hampton. Sorry if you're a big believer. I am not. His tape was not good. When it comes to Rashee Rice, if he gets suspended for 6 games, he is tanking your season as a 4th-round pick, which I can't allow or have happen. It puts me in a fun spot. I do like Alvin Kamara. I wish he was going a little bit later. If he fell further than round 4, if I have him, we go back on the turn and he's fallen to round 5, I'm going to smash him. It really depends on what I need, right? So if I've been going crazy and I have Jameer and I have Josh Jacobs for some reason, maybe the other receivers just got eaten up, gobbledygooked, I probably am going to take a swing on DJ Moore. I do think he is going to be the number 1 wide receiver target for the Bears. Caleb Williams with Ben Johnson is going to take a big step. So I do like the outlook for the Bears offense. If I did, again, have Jameer, one of these receivers, then I'm going to go running back again. I think you find a lot of value in Ken Walker as well as Chuba Hubbard. I actually have Chuba Hubbard really high in my personal rankings. I know when it comes to Chuba Hubbard, he is playing for the Panthers, so the high upside ceiling for scoring offense may not be there. I do think Bryce Young is going to take a step. I do think Tet is going to elevate this offensive unit as well. I think he's a pretty smash pick. Ken Walker last season, from the healthy games he did play, he could have been on pace to be an RB1, so I'm pretty comfortable drafting him as such, or maybe a fringe RB1, I guess that is rather. So same thing, it is going to reverse again. Best case scenario, Sam Laporta, and then we have the rest of the round to play with. At this point in time, who do I have the most faith in? It is either going to be, to my point, Tedorolic McMillan, or it is going to be RJ Harvey for the Denver Broncos. This really comes down to what I need. If I took Chuba Hubbard, I can't take Tet. I don't want to take 2 guys on a Panthers offense. It's probably not going to be anything better than a league average offense. I want to diversify my portfolio a little bit. If I'm not taking Chuba, I would love to smash Tet. I think he is the best receiver in that round. If I'm pretty loaded at wide receiver, maybe I did take CeeDee Lamb, I took AJ Brown or Drake London, and I'm needing some running back help. I think RJ Harvey is going to be in a smash spot with Sean Payton. For me, I've been taking a crap ton of RJ Harvey. I'm going to keep smashing the button on him. It is that lizard meme you've been seeing on TikTok. It is lizard, 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 RJ Harvey, Harvey, Harvey for me. So that's going to be round 5 as we go into reversal right here. Travis Hunter's probably our best case scenario, and then throughout the rest of the round is what we got. So for me, I'm sad that he has risen so much. I was loving taking him in round 7. It is going to be Calvin Ridley. I already had him ranked this high before the injury occurred. I think Calvin Ridley is going to be in a smash spot. He's going to have Cam Ward, severely elevated QB play. He's still not being valued as high as he should be. He's usually going around wide receiver 24 to 28. In 2023, he finished as the wide receiver 18. There's going to be elevated QB play again this coming year. And in 2024, he had his highest yards per reception out of any year in his career. I think we're going to have a pretty undervalued bounce back season for Calvin Ridley. If I do not need a wide receiver, because he's pretty much the only guy I really want in this round, and I'm taking running backs, I am pretty confident with Isaiah Pacheco. I understand that he did break his leg, but he's going to be on a top 10 scoring offense with the Chiefs, or Caleb Johnson. I like what we saw in college. I like what we're seeing out of camp already. I think Caleb Johnson is going to be the 3-down back for the Steelers, a team that is going to want to play a lot of defense and run the football. I think he's in a smash spot at the RB position. I think he'll finish as a high RB2. Same thing with Isaiah Pacheco, and I really don't feel like they're being valued as such. So again, we're going to have the reversal going into round 7. So for right here, best case scenario, again, quotations would be Tony Pollard, and again, we're going to have picks throughout the entire round. This is kind of where it starts to get a little sick. This is the point in time where Juwan Jennings comes in. I wish he was ranked a little bit lower like he is in my format, but for ADP in general, a consensus ADP, he's a little bit higher. Juwan Jennings is going to be the target number 1 on this football team. It's going to be him and George Kittle throughout the season who are battling for who's getting the most targets. I do think Juwan Jennings is going to edge him out. If I need to go on a swing for a tight end, it would be Evan Ingram. I start feeling pretty comfortable taking tight end around now. Evan Ingram is going to be in a spot where he's going to be set up to smash with Sean Payton. He's going to be the second target earner more than likely behind Cortland Sutton. Maybe Pat Bryant will work his way in there a little bit, but he's going to be one of the top 2, worst case scenario, top 3 target earners on his football team in 2025. Again, we're going to go back through the turn going into round number 8. Probably Khalil Shakir is what we're going to get. Stephon Diggs is best case scenario, and then we have picks throughout the rest of the round. For me, if Stephon Diggs has fallen where I can draft him, he's going to be a smash pick in the 8th round. If he is available, that's great. If he's not, I will happily take Khalil Shakir. Again, I'm getting 2 guys who are being undervalued. They're wide receiver ones on their football team. Stephon Diggs last season was only 0.9 PPR points behind his 2023 pace, where he finished as wide receiver 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, somewhere in there. He was a top 10 wide receiver in 2023. He's 0.9 PPR points behind his pace last season as the number 2 wide receiver for the Texans, who had a horrible offensive line. I'm not saying that we're going to see top 10 Stephon Diggs, but he is being dramatically undervalued by being drafted in the 8th round. He's being drafted around wide receiver 3 range. He will finish as a wide receiver 2 easily in all formats. And Khalil Shakir is on a top 10 scoring offense with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen as his quarterback, and hopefully their connection this offseason grows. We're going to be moving right along through here. The 9th round is kind of gross. There's not really a lot of amazing picks. This is when you're going to start reaching on people. This is where I'd be a little bit more comfortable taking QB. I would be happy to take Justin Fields right here. He is somebody who I think is being dramatically undervalued in any format you're drafting in. The guy is going to bounce back to more of a 2023 Justin Fields, where he's going to be a top 10 fantasy football quarterback. And he's just not being valued as such. It's mighty unfortunate. Drake May a little bit later in your draft is also somebody that I do like. This is the point in time, too, when you're in the 9th round, there's not as many favorable picks. It starts to get a little bit grosser as you go. This is when I would recommend, if you don't like anybody in here in the 9th, start looking in the 10th and the 11th. Have your cheat sheets available and your projections available, whether you made it, I made it, somebody else made it. This is when you can start reaching a little bit more, especially in redraft, because you don't want to wait for somebody who you think's not going to go, but your other league mate's done some research and has some insight as well. They pick him up, you get sniped thinking you could wait until the 10th, 11th round, and he's already gone. This is my perfect draft. As you can see, if I was drafting in the middle of the rounds, obviously there's way more players than 9, but I kind of like to give a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of variance, so you can make your team depending on who you want. If you want a running back, you want a tight end, you want a wide receiver, you have that ability to be a little more flexible. But this group of guys would be essentially my perfect team, some variation of this going into 2025 if I was drafting at picks 5, 6, or 7. So hopefully this video helps you get us a little bit closer to winning your fantasy football championship in 2025. If you're wanting to see other rankings videos specifically for positional groups, I'll have videos around here somewhere. Hopefully they'll help you kind of know where to take people and how I have them ranked, because again, this channel, Fantasy Football Truthers, we're not trying to give you everything else copy and paste from all the other creators and people on the internet. We're trying to give you actual rankings that will help you win your championship in 2025. I'll see you guys again real soon. No, hopefully you guys will see me again real soon. Until then, y'all have a blessed day. Bye.